Yeah, I think that's what was going on there. She's a little late coming.
I know, I was trying to push
on
to
the
get it.
tequila tea part,
Yeah,
can we
Va'ani.
slow it down just a hair?
Oh, I
Just
did
at the
hear
very
that.
end.
Huh?
Like the
That's just, she did
Got
just
it?
because it's different and it's like towards the end, and I think he does it slower
uh-huh,
in the recorded version, like Vasen's actual version.
right, right.
Just a little, you know.
Yeah.
Got it.
I just felt like you were pushing me instead of me pushing you.
Yeah, it sounded like you wanted to slow it down there a little bit. So we
Yeah.
were just talking about that. So, good.
Yay, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
This is the page right here.
Huh?
Never mind.
Yeah. That's good.
I'll just listen for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, let's see what time it is. You know Cats, right? And you heard the music at Cats.
I've heard of it.
Oh, you haven't heard the music then?
Thank God, no.
This sounded actually
Well, it could be worse.
Amy
It
went to
could be
Amy went
Starlight
to it.
Express.
Oh, I saw that one.
You're not
And,
gonna-
I was just about to die.
and I have everything like
The New York, you know how the New Yorker
it's like I
runs
forgot.
real one sentence
It's okay.
reviews of each show and the listings of what's playing. And I remember when that was running in New York, their comment was a crashing door on roller
Did
skates.
you want to practice other things or no?
Well, it's 1 till, so I think
Yeah.
we're getting ready to
Oh,
start.
okay. Never mind.
Matter of fact, it is almost time.
Yeah.
I need to start playing.
Yeah.
Time goes quick.
Little Mr. Rogers or something.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We begin our service with Mishkan Tefillah, page 192, with Matovu. Top of page 197. Matter is never destroyed, only transformed. So too can the soul evolve higher and higher, from instinct to inspiration, from haughtiness to holiness, selfishness to service, from individualism to union, to join with the souls of souls, the infinite one. As the soul is magnified and sanctified, so is the infinite one exalted. Baruch atah Adonai asher biado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish. We turn to the next page. Nasim b'kol yom are prayers for daily miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sech bina v'vchin ben yom u'ben laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzarei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, mala'at hanotin la'ya'ev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shena meinai utnu mame afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesanim etzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani bat chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael betifara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvosav v'tzivanu l'sok b'divrei Torah. We turn to the top of page 206. Elu devarim she'ein lahen shi'or. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, making peace among people, and the study of Torah encompasses them all. We continue with our Chesi Kaddish 208.
Yitkadal, Yitkadashem Rabbah, V'amadi v'kirute, v'amlich malchute, V'chayechon v'yom v'chon, U'chayedachol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, U'bizman kariv, V'meru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, Le'olam le'omei hamaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach Shabbat, Vitpar, Vitrama, Vinase, Vitadar, Vitala, Vitala, Shmini Kodesha, Leila min Kobrakata, Veshirata, Tushbekata, Venechemata, Damiran Biama, Vimeru. Amen.
We turn to page 226. We rise together. Please be seated at the top of page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvorei hoshech, Osei shalom uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alehe barachamim, Uvetuvo mechadesh v'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit, Ma rabu ma'asechach Adonai, Kulam b'chochma asita, Malach ha'aretz kinyan necha, Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, Al shevach ma'aseh yadecha v'al me'orei or shasita, Yefarucha sela, Or chadash al Tzion Tair, Nizkei hulanu mehiro lehiro, Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Ham Orot 230.
Adonai, Habocher b'mo Yisrael b'yava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malichuto, Leolam, Leolam Bad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levadacha v'nimartam bam v'shivtecha v'techa u'leftecha v'terech uv'shokbecha v'kumacha u'kshartam leot hayatecha v'ayilototafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam amuzizot be'tacha v'sharacha Leman tizkeru v'asitam et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedashim l'lechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
The bottom of page 241. And what is my lifespan? I'm like a man gone out from Egypt. The Red Sea parts, I cross on dry land. 2 walls of water on my right and on my left. Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me. Before me the desert, perhaps the promised land too. This is my lifespan. The top of page 240, Armi Chamocha.
Sur Yisrael, kuma b'Yisrat Yisrael, uptechinu macha, Yuda v'Yisrael. Go alenu, Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
We rise together for our tefillah, 244.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gual Lifnei B'nei Ham, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Malach Ozer Moshiach Umagin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Metim, Atarav L'Hoshea, Mashiv Haruach, Umarid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'chesed, Mechayim Metim B'rachamim Rabim, Samach Noflim V'rofach Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidam Alach, Melech Memit Tumachayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Atalachayot Metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMetim. Ateshachim ha'ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, HaKatuv v'yad levi'acha, V'karazah ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivot, Melech ol haaretz, Kivodo, Adir, Adir, Anu Adonai, Eloheinu Madir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimcha. Yeah.
Please be seated. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened upon a time happens all the time. Yismechu, top of page 250. Bottom of page 259. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace. Give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of fellowship, friendship and fellowship among all inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of thy name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Adonai, who blesses our people Israel with peace. Top of page 258.
Shalom,
our own silent prayers. We're at that moment in our service where we take time to think of those in our community who are in need of healing of body and spirit. On this Shabbat, we think of Linda Applebaum, Cindy Silverman Bailey, Margaret Bell, Harold Seitlin, Deborah Chagois, Karen Edwards, Hannah Fox, Edward Goldberg, Barbara Goldstone, Josie Hatfield, Sissy and Jack Held, Evelyn Held, Donald and Maida Himmel, Corey Kessler, Bart Colbert, Jerry Lapidus, Wayne Lewis, Marlene Meyerson, Joe Morris, Jeffrey Muss, Leslie Simon, Chrissy St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, Joan Weisberg, and Carol Wright. For those with us this morning, if you're thinking of a loved one or friend and wish to share a name out loud, please do so. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names still in our hearts, we turn to our Misha Berach, page 371.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Go ahead.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hello. So I just wanted to share with you an experience that I had a few years ago when I was an intern Well, at that time, I had the opportunity to do a little extracurricular activity. I was able to perform as the narrator in a musical that many of you have heard of called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So I mention this because this week's Parsha is Miketz, and it reflects on the story of Joseph. I'm actually wearing the costume today that I wore when I was the narrator in Joseph, just because of the special occasion with Miketz this week. So basically, just to recap on the story, so Joseph, he has this beautiful multicolored dream coat, and he has this keen ability to interpret dreams. And he also gains the favor of his father, and his brothers become really jealous. They become so jealous that they sell him into slavery. And basically, Joseph does not know what's going to happen. He doesn't know if he's going to have a home. He doesn't know where he's going to go. He doesn't know if he's going to have food. He's just a slave, so he starts from total scratch. And I think that that's kind of life lesson number one that I wanted to share with you from this week's portion is that, we all kind of start from small, right? We don't have necessarily great means to begin with. We start our careers from scratch. Like for me, it was just, I was a medical student, and I kind of been working my way up. But we have to put forth a great deal of effort and planning to make it happen. And so that's kind of one of the things that I think we can learn from this week's portion is, that it takes a lot of planning and work to make it happen. The second thing is, I think it shows how sometimes things are out of our control. Like Joseph didn't know that he was going to be made a slave, and he didn't know that one day he was going to be Pharaoh's second man, basically, and that he was going to hold a position of great power. He didn't know what was going to happen, but he was able to say to himself, "It's going to be okay." And I think there are a lot of times in our lives where we don't know what's going to happen next, whether we're waiting for test results or whether we're waiting for an answer, whether or not we got the job that we want. So I think that can relate, something that we can relate to. So make it happen, and it's going to be okay. Baruch Tiyah.
Rise together, Aleinu 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedulo liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'gayei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adamah. Shelo samcholkeinu koham, v'gor aleinu kahamonam. Ve'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei malach malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehunot hashamayim ve'asar haaretz, u'moshav yakaro b'shamayim imah, u'shchinot yazo, u'shchinot yazo, v'gavei meromim, u'Eloheinu Eino, emet malkeinu efes ilato, v'adatu b'toratu, v'yadata yom
thoughts turn to those who've departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to all of us and to all of humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Julian H. Allenberg, Ivan K. Black, Davida Sanborn Black, Daniel Kunzen-Nero, Brian Cohen, Sylvia Epsman, Abe Epsman, Janet Elizabeth Franco, Fred Friedman, Joan Goldman, Jeanette Goldstein, Donald B. Goldstein Sr., Esther Grafman, Henry Morton Hellsberg, Jimmy Hewell, Russell Hudson, Helene Levin Jacobs, Leo Kaiser Sr., Marion Grabov Leaf, Kate E. Malkov, Carl Moran, David Bud Meadows, Julius Mitnick, Joseph J. Morris, Elaine Rosen, Lily Wool Rosenbaum, William Rosenberg, Margaret Goldberg Salloway, Jack Siegel, Ruby Seitel, Celia L. Sherry, Henry Siegel, Sally Tampson Hill Slate, Sarah Rogoff Sokol, David Solomon, Samuel Solomon, Sarah Staff, Mina H. Stern, Seymour S. Warren, Ellis Weinstein, and Sadie Yanuk. We rise together as a united congregation. May all of their memories forever be a blessing. of Martyrs Kaddish 598. Yikadal Vikadash Shemei Rabbah. Bioma Divrach Yotev Amlich Malchute. Bechayachon of Yomechon. Uvchayet the called Beit Yisrael. Bagalawi's Man Kari Vimru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Leolam Olamei Almaya. Yit Barach Vishtabach Hit Baar Hit Romam Hit Naseh. Vita Dar Vita Le Vita Lel Shmei Kudsha. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damin ram yoma v'imru, gehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alena v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bim romav, hu yasei shalom, alena v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, amen. We conclude this morning's Shabbat service with Ein Keloheinu. Good Shabbos.